Hello, this is Samir Machwe. I am a wealth coach and a financial mentor. And welcome to our 24th episode of the series on how to be rich for sure. If you are watching this video on YouTube, you need to go to the Facebook page by the name FINDAS to watch the earlier episodes. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get more videos related to financial management and how to live an abundant life. In this series, we discuss money management, wealth creation, and all about money. So, if you want a handbook on how to lead a good life, how to be rich, this is the video series that you must be watching. As you know, we have been discussing money habits that make us rich. This week, we are going to make an exception and we are going to deal with a different topic, a topic that has impacted the complete world, the rich, the poor, the middle class, everyone, irrespective of your age, irrespective of your caste, creed, all of us have been impacted by this single event of COVID-19 pandemic. So there are a few money lessons that I learned out of this COVID-19 pandemic, and I thought I should be sharing these lessons with all of you so that you can do some introspection in your life. You can dig into what lessons you learned and what actions you are going to take in the future. So this is the video about what COVID-19 pandemic taught us in general about life and in specific about our financial life, the domain of money, right? So first thing that I learned out of it is we need to have an emergency fund. I hope you remember that in the first or second episode in our series itself, we had discussed that the rich create an emergency fund. They always create an emergency fund that is typically anywhere between 6 to 12 months of their expenses kept aside. So if the need arises, they can just remove the money from it and use it in case their income stops, they lose their job or anything of that sort, right? So if you watch these events that we have been witnessing for last 2 years, the COVID-19 pandemic hit the hardest for the people who did not have an emergency fund. The people who were living on the brink, so to say, they were having very little bank balance, they are the people who suffered the most during this COVID-19 pandemic. So one thing is loud and clear that you need to have an emergency fund which will last you for at least 6 months of expense. More the better, but at least 6 months of expense. So if you do not have an emergency fund right now, it is high time you started creating it. Whether COVID or not COVID, an emergency fund will always come handy in life. So that is lesson number one. The next very important lesson that I learned myself is you need to have health insurance. Now, most people consider health insurance as a very extra expense, very expensive thing. Why you should do? Even in today's 21st century, people consider it as a luxury. People will go out and spend a lot of money on a dinner or on a vacation, but they won't buy a health insurance because each one of us is very confident, has very high confidence that nothing will happen to me or my family members. But this confidence is what is the root cause of the suffering if you don't have a health insurance. Now, this COVID pandemic in my family, I can share from my own life. My wife got admitted because of COVID. My daughter was COVID positive. My parents were COVID positive. My in-laws were COVID positive, and all that treatment got reimbursed because I had health insurance. If I did not have health insurance, I would have spent all this money from my savings. And then I would have maybe spent another 2 to 5 years in again accumulating the same amount of savings. There are people who have spent more than 15-20 lakhs on the COVID claim. First, it was COVID positive, and then the new thing, what mucormycosis, some problem with the eye and the nose and all that stuff. So if you don't have health insurance, you are heading for disaster. Never, never, never take it lightly. If you don't have health insurance, immediately go out and buy. If you need assistance in buying that, get in touch with me. I am an insurance broker. I deal with all companies of insurance. So I can offer you the best available products in our country. So if you need any assistance in health insurance, at FINDAS, we are ready to help. But if you have a source where you can buy yourself, please do it. It is very, very important. The next important thing that I learned is life insurance is very, very important. This is again a matter of confidence. Most people think that nothing is going to happen to me, especially the youngsters. And I don't want you to suffer the way I suffered. I lost my wife at an age of 46 due to COVID. She passed away on 27th April. And you can imagine, I am financially well off. Still, I had very good insurance, very good life insurance for her. A person who has no life insurance or has little life insurance, you can imagine what will happen to the survivors. And especially if the survivors are financially illiterate, economically backward, then there is going to be a very big problem in their life. Hence, don't ever take this loosely. Life insurance. Now, which life insurance? You need term insurance. It is compulsory that you buy term insurance. Don't get into any kind of endowment policy, money back policy, and all that policies that give you the money back after a few years at maturity. None of that business. Just stick around with term insurance. As I earlier said, I am also a broker with all the life insurance companies in India. So if you need the best quotations available, you can approach me through this video. I will give my email address in the comments below, and you can approach me if you need quotations for different insurance companies. And we do all the servicing. We have got more than 21 years of experience in this field of insurance, both health insurance and life insurance. Now, life insurance is very, very important, because if the earning member dies either because of COVID, either because of any other illness, because of accident or anything, then the family suffers like hell. But if he has adequate insurance, at least he gives a lot of money. That policy gives a lot of money for the family to survive in the future. It is very, very important. So life insurance, that was the third lesson that I learned. Now I am myself increasing my own life insurance very, very in very near time. That is the lesson I learned the hard way. The next very important lesson is you need to befriend volatility. Most people in India do not invest their money in the asset of equity. In the population of around 135, 136 crores, there are just about 2 or 2.5 crores of people who have put their money in this asset called equity. Why don't they invest? Because they are afraid that the market will fall. That is called volatility, the fluctuation in the market. It goes up, it goes down, and people don't know how to manage it. But unfortunately, if you don't befriend that volatility, your money is not going to grow. Last year, when the COVID pandemic first hit, in February month, the markets in India fell almost 40%. That is the time where I bought a lot of stocks, a lot of mutual funds for myself, because it was one of the best opportunities to enter the market. And that time the market had come down to a very, very low levels, and now you can see where is the market. The Nifty, for example, had come down from 11,000 to sub 8,000 levels, and now it is doubled from there. Now we are trading on 16,000 plus on the Nifty. This is the beauty of the equity. So you need to learn to make friends, to make peace with volatility. Don't worry about the short-term fluctuations. Keep a long-term goal, keep a long-term view, and invest your money in the equity asset class, because that is the only asset class that will help you beat the inflation. No other asset class does that. Currently, debt is suffering, FD rates are going down, they will come down even further. Real estate is in a very bad shape. Gold is almost horizontal. Once the vaccination is done, the gold will come down again. It is equity that is performing and will continue to perform for next 5 to 10 years. If you need any guidance on equity, you can get in touch with us. You can invest through mutual funds, you can invest through direct stocks. I myself also have an online course on direct stock investing. I myself have a recommendations. You can visit my blog on the website www.findas.in and check out my stock recommendations if you are interested in that. Make sure that you know how to deal with volatility in this asset class. That is the only way you can create long-term wealth. All those people who invested during this COVID fall are now making merry. Their money has grown by leaps and bounds. All those who are sitting on the sideline, fearful, still putting their money in the FD, are still suffering. So this is the next lesson that I learned. Make friends with volatility, don't worry. The next and the last lesson that I learned is focus on your needs. When the income is good, when everything is very good in life, people tend to spend a lot of money. And that is the time when they need to control their expenses. If you remember in one of the habits, I have mentioned that what the rich do. The rich, they keep their expenses low. They put their energy into increasing the income, and then they invest the gap between their income and their expenses. They are very good in financial management and they manage to keep their expenses low. And how do they do that? They focus on their needs and not on their wants. The poor have, of course, a big struggle because their needs almost equal to their income, so they have little left. The middle class, they have a financial software problem in their brain, so they keep on increasing their wants. So if they can get a mobile at 20,000, they will buy an iPhone just because they want to show off. Most middle class people want to look rich. They don't want to be rich, they want to look rich. And how do they look rich? They look rich by buying gadgets, by buying branded clothes, by buying branded cars, big cars, by taking club membership and all those things that make them feel rich and look rich. But they may be in excessive debt. This is what exposed all those people who did not control their expenses during the COVID-19 pandemic. All those who are debt ridden, all those who had no control on their expenses are the people who suffered during this COVID-19 pandemic. So these are the main lessons, 5 lessons that I learned. First, just to summarize it quickly, always have an emergency fund ready. If you don't have it, please do it right now. Buy health insurance. Never, 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 ever be without health insurance. Keep aside everything else, but buy health insurance. Buy life insurance, adequate life insurance. There is no guarantee that we are going to live till old age. I have seen it in my own house. So for God's sake, it is my humble request, go out and buy the health insurance and life insurance immediately. The next important thing is learn to deal with volatility. Make friends with volatility. If you don't know how to do it, come to us. We will teach you, we will guide you, but we'll make sure that your investments beat the inflation rate by a decent margin. And last and the most important thing is always focus on your needs. Be aware of your wants. Don't go overboard in fulfilling the wants. Make sure your money works. Keep your expenses low, work on your income and invest the gap. That is the mantra for being rich and living an abundant life. So this, my friends, were the lessons that I learned in this COVID pandemic. I hope this was some eye opener for you. If you think this video helped you, then please do write something in the comments of how and what action you are going to take on any of these 5 points that we have discussed so far. I hope this video helps you and your friends and your family to look at your own financial life on a serious note and take some actions that will yield good results for you. Thank you. Bye bye. That's all for now. Have an abundant life.